Hey there, it's Jason Treuting here from So Percussion. We have had a blast these last few weeks after we started the June project. Just seeing what everybody's been coming up with. It's really blown me away to get all these amazing submissions. So thank you to all of you who have submitted something. So many percussionists have found cool ways to make this happen and do amazing things with video, some kind of shouting out / recreating some of the video style that my sister Jenise Treuting did on the original ones, which has been amazing. And then seeing it realized by non-percussionists has been really a thrill as well. Just this last week, we got a string quartet sent something in, the Bergamot Quartet, and an old collaborator, an old friend, Cenk Ergun, did a kind of electronic version of it in a lot of ways. Composer and associate alum made a super collider version of it. It's just been amazing to see what's been coming in. So these are all living up on our YouTube page and are making their ways around in different ways through the So channel. So check them out when you can. But we were so psyched about it, we wanted to put out another score into the world and see if folks had some cool ways of realizing another score. So we're going to release in the same way the score to September, which is another track on Amid the Noise. And in a similar way, I think it excuse me, makes sense as a follow-up to June in some ways. It's just a one-page score. I have it up here to talk through briefly. And there's very few pitches to deal with, so a lot of people had been realizing June with some kind of keyboard instrument like a piano or synth, and that would still work with September, but I'm sure it would also be possible to find kind of found sounds around, or wine glasses or pipes or things that percussionists can make to also figure out these 5 pitches. So hopeful it'll be user-friendly in a fun way. So with this one, it's also based on a quote, just like all of the pieces of Amid the Noise. This one is one of my favorite quotes. My improv teacher in my undergrad, Ralph Alessi, brought this quote into a class at some moment, one of my first years at school, and it just stuck with me all through my undergrad and ever since. It's a quote by Basho, the Japanese writer, which says, "Don't seek to emulate the master, seek what the master sought." I think it's worth chewing on that quote a little bit for all of us as musicians, as we're making our way in the world and looking up to our mentors and people that we really enjoy and would love to make music like, but finding a way to do it our own way. So that's been a nice quote for me to think about, and a lot of these Amid the Noise pieces come from that quote. And just like June, there are some layers to deal with. In this one, the layer that's written out is there's a harmony layer. I guess harmony / melody is the way it's put here. There's a drone layer. There's a noise layer and a rhythm layer. And so to pick apart these layers, the harmony one, it'll take 2 or 3 notes at a time. It's written as 3 notes at a time, and the highest note is always a D. So if you saw the video that So just put out, I was playing those, plucking the piano strings, and I was just doing 2 at a time for a while, just the 2 moving notes. And then when I played it on the piano, I played all 3. But the pitches that are used are just the first 5 notes of a minor scale. In this case, it's G, A, B flat, C, D. And that could totally be transposed if you transpose the drone along with it. So, and in this case, there are like the what is it? 12 bars of music are written out for those pitches. So you can read them. The first bar sounds like this. So I guess I definitely, since I originally played it on a glockenspiel, I definitely think of them as ringing kind of notes, but that's not necessary. they could definitely be disjunct if they want to be. Also, sometimes when So's been playing it live recently, I've been playing with some crotales that are muted, and I'll be doing weird things like. So really, you can go to town on that melody in different ways, and on that layer, and it's written out in 8/4, and the words are over each bar, but just so you can see that over the first bar is the word "don't" from the text, and there's 4 notes in "don't," or 4 letters in "don't," so there's 4 chords in the bar, and the pitches come from that word going forwards and backwards, and dealing with the vowels and consonants. When I do it myself, I've gotten a little bit lazy, so I a little bit play in the style of myself, I guess. So if you watch the So video, those pitches aren't always exactly that, but if you play them exactly as written, that gets to the essence of it. After you've played it for a couple years and you understand the way the notes work, I guess there's always freedom in these things, hopefully. So the next layer is a drone, and if you do transpose, it is important for the drone to be the top pitch. So like I said, it was G, A, B flat, C, D. So the drone is the D. And that's important because when you go through the form, you play the harmonies that are written down, and then when you repeat it the second time, for the second half of that music, starting in bar 7, you're only going to hit the Ds. So that the only pitch happening is those Ds and the drone. So it's important that the drone is that pitch. So in this case, the drone is a D. But so we transpose it all the time if there are other pitches around that are useful because of gathering pipes or gathering decibels or crotales or whatever. So you can do, A, B, C, D, E, that minor scale, and the drone would be an E. And then the 2 other layers are the noise layer. And noise and rhythm really get kind of intertwined for me, I guess, in some ways, because, noise for me would be anything without a distinct pitch, something that we're thinking of as non-pitched, like, for me that would be noise. Drums and a lot of unpitched percussion would all be kind of noise. So you can find ways to make noise layers with this in kind of any way you want. On the original album that we recorded, we took these little noise layers. At the time, it was like a threaded rod rubbed up against an aluminum pipe is how we were getting a lot of the noise layers. And we were looping them. And then for the second half of the piece, brought in the reverse loops. And so we were finding these interesting loops, and we kind of transcribed that loop at some point, and we're playing those loops more specifically sometimes. But then now, more recently, we found all different ways to do it. Sitting down in a drum set and, playing beats, or, it can, go a lot of different ways with what the noise layer is. Or it can be incidental noise, ambient sounds that you record where you are, or sounds of the radio. Any of those things would be noise for me. And then what's the rhythm layer here, the 4th layer? It's just really what makes the second half of the piece very distinct from the first. It's just a backbeat that comes in on the 11th bar. It comes in on beat 6 of the 11th bar. So at the end of this melody, the melody's going. And this kind of, I think of it as 2 and 4, but I guess it's 2, 4, 6, 8 in these big 8/4 bars. That big backbeat happens for the rest of the piece. And so when the melody comes back in for the second time through, that backbeat is still there, and with whatever rhythms you have going on, maybe that backbeat helps you hear that rhythm in a different way. That sound can be anything. Oftentimes we make it a big wooden slat or wood block. Hand claps would work. Woo! Drum set, backbeats, tiny shakers, really anything goes for that backbeat to land. So that's the way it works. I think Adam Sliwinski of So edited these original scores, and I think it's pretty clear on how it works. And you can check out the version that we posted along with our friend Cenk Ergun and Yeji Chabich playing some violin, Cenk doing some electronic processing. But there's lots of ways for this piece to work, so it would be amazing and such a gift to get some other submissions from you all on ways that you hear the piece and to include them in a new playlist. So I can tell you that for me that would just make the next few weeks just the best ever, and I hope some of you out there would have fun with it too. So give a shout if you would like to talk more about it or have any questions about it. But if not, on the same place you found June, on the June project page on sopercussion.com, you can find the September score, and have fun with it. See you soon.